Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're watching this and when you're watching this video. This is Mr. Smith coming at you with a review of how to solve one variable equations by hand. All right, so our problem states or asks what value of x makes 3 times x plus 4 minus 4 times x minus 11 equal 5x plus 9. What value of x makes the left side of this equal sign equal to the right side? What's going to make it true? So we start off by identifying the equal sign by drawing a line down the middle, and then we want to identify the one variable that we are solving for by putting a box around it. No matter how many different places it may be located, as long as it's the same letter, it's only a one variable equation. We're only solving for one number here. There's one number that's going to make the left side equal to the right. So we got to find out what it is. But first, we're going to start off by simplifying. And we've come up with a deal that says, don't call me after midnight. And so we just use the initials of don't call me after midnight. And that helps us to remember what order to go in. We start off with the letter D for don't, and it stands for distribute if necessary. And so how do I know if it's necessary to distribute? Well, I look and see if there's parentheses with either a number outside of those parentheses, or there might be a negative sign or a minus sign in front of the parentheses, which indicates a -1. There might be a plus sign outside of the parentheses with no number, and that indicates a +1. In any case, you want to multiply that number, whether it's visible or invisible, that's on the outside of the parentheses. You want to multiply that times each number inside the parentheses. So we got 3 on this one, starting from the left to the right, 3 times x, and then 3 times 4. That's going to give us two different numbers. The first number it's going to give us, well, it's actually a variable, is 3x. Okay, because we don't know what x is, so we can't get just a number. We have to get a variable with a coefficient of 3. Well, 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, and then we just continue moving left to right. And it says minus 4 times x minus 11. Well, that minus sign in front of the 4 is going to cause us to treat that 4 like a negative. So I have to, when I'm multiplying, I have to treat that as a -4 times x. And then I have to treat it like a -4 times a -11. Because once again, that minus in front of that 11 is going to make me treat that 11 as a negative. And so we have -4x, which when I'm writing it in my expression, it's just -4x. Okay. And then I have that +44, which I'm going to write as a +44, because a negative times a negative, -4 times -11 is +44. And so moving from left to right, we cross the equal sign there, and we go to the right side. And I'm still trying to see if I need to distribute. Are there any parentheses on the right side of the equal sign? Well, that will be a no. There's no parentheses with a number outside of it, so I'm going to skip distribution on the right side. All right, let's go down to the next one, which in our don't call me after midnight acrostic, basically we're at the C, which means combine like terms. And we want to make sure that we combine like terms on one side of the equal sign at a time. Okay, we can't go across the equal sign right now. We just want to stay on one side, and this time we're doing the left. Okay, we're starting off with the left side. We've got 2 x's and we've got 2 constants. So let's combine the x's. We've got a +3 and a -4. Well, when we're combining like terms, we're adding, okay? And so if we add a positive and a negative, we're really subtracting, and the answer depends on which one is the bigger number, which one, either the positive or the negative, which one is bigger. Well, in this case, the bigger number is the negative, and so therefore, when we subtract these, we're going to get a -1x, okay? When we add the constants together, we got +12 and +44. Those come together to give us a +56, okay? So we simplified that quite a bit, went from 4 terms to just 2. Now we're crossing the equal sign, and we are going to see if we can combine the 5x and the 9. Well, we can't because they're not like terms. One has a variable to the first degree, and the other one doesn't even have a variable. Or if it does, it's a variable to the 0 degree. It doesn't exist. Okay, so basically, we're simplified as much as we can on each side. Now we got to see how we move. We got to move. Don't call me after midnight. Well, the me stands for move. Don't call me after midnight. So we're going to move variables to one side, and we're going to do the constants on the other. And so here we go. Which side do we move the x's on? Well, we always look for the highest x value. And in this case, that's going to be 5x, because 5x is greater than negative 1x. So we want to eliminate the negative 1x. We're going to do that through addition or subtraction, whichever one is the opposite of what's happening. Later, we're going to employ multiplication and division. Now, that is my after midnight. Just to remember, addition and subtraction will come before multiplication and division, if possible, okay? So, we want to get rid of that negative 1x, and we're going to do the opposite of subtracting x, which is adding x. Now I'm changing the value of the left side of the equal sign. Before, we weren't changing the value of the left side. We were just distributing, and we were just simplifying. We didn't add or subtract, multiply, or divide anything to change the value. We didn't take anything away. Okay. Now we're going to cancel out this x by adding an x, and since we're doing that, we have to do it to one side. We have to do the same thing to the other. Okay. So on the left side, that's going to cancel out. On the right side, I'm going to get 6x. And now we're going to put the constants all on the left side. So we got to get rid of this positive 9 or this plus 9. So what's the opposite of plus 9? Minus 9. You guessed it. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So on the right side, it cancels out. Those 9s cancel. On the left side, I get 47. So I have 47 equals 6x. Well, I'm almost done solving. All I have to do now, I'm on the midnight part. We just did the after part, which is the adding and subtracting. Now we're doing the midnight part, which is multiplying and dividing. So which one we're going to do? Well, we have to do the opposite of what's going on. And what's going on is multiplication times x. That's 6 times x. We have to get rid of that multiplication. And the only way we can get rid of multiplication is through division. So let's divide both sides by 6. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. The 6's are going to cancel, leaving me with x equals 47 over 6. 47 and 6 do not have common factors, so that's as simple as I can get it as a fraction. I can also write this as x equals 47 over 6. It doesn't matter which side I flip them on. Those are the same thing. If I want a decimal, I can use the calculator and put 47 first, then divide, then put the 6 second, and you would get 7.83 repeating. So if the answer choice requires that, then you can easily do that in the calculator. All right, this has been Mr. Smith with a review of solving one variable equations by hand. Hope it helps. If you need to, stop it, go back, or use Remind to text me. Peace.